Imagine a world where the fastest way to ship cars from Europe to America isn't through the Suez Canal or around the Cape of Good Hope, but through the icy waters of the Arctic. A world where melting ice has opened a new trade route that could slash shipping times by weeks, but at a cost that might shake the very foundation of companies like Tesla. This isn't science fiction, it's happening right now, and it could change everything for the electric vehicle giant and the American consumer. So, what does this Arctic route mean for Tesla, and why should the United States care? Let's start with the crisis gripping Europe's auto industry. As of 2025, thousands of vehicles are piling up in European ports, unable to reach markets like the United States due to escalating tariffs. The U.S. has imposed steep duties on European and Chinese goods, a policy rooted in protecting domestic industries but creating a bottleneck for global trade. European automakers like Volkswagen and BMW are desperate to get their electric vehicles to American showrooms where demand for EVs is surging. Over 1.2 million EVs were sold in the U.S. last year alone. But with tariffs driving up costs, these companies are looking for a lifeline, and they found one in an unexpected place: the Arctic. The Northern Sea Route, a shipping lane along Russia's Arctic coast, is becoming viable as climate change melts polar ice. Historically, this route was a frozen, no-go zone, but warming temperatures have opened it up, cutting the journey from Europe to North America by up to 40%. That's 20 days instead of 33 via traditional routes. For European carmakers, this is a game changer. Lower shipping costs could offset tariff hikes, allowing them to flood the U.S. market with cheaper EVs. Data from 2024 shows a record 14 million tons of cargo moved through the Arctic, and that number is climbing as infrastructure like Russian and Chinese-built icebreakers expands. But here's where it gets complicated for Tesla, the company that dominates 40% of the U.S. EV market. Tesla relies heavily on global supply chains. Its batteries come from Asian suppliers like CATL, and its top-selling Model Y is partly manufactured in China. The Arctic route could, in theory, speed up these shipments, lowering Tesla's costs, but there's a catch. The route is controlled by Russia, with growing Chinese investment in ports and logistics. Geopolitical tensions make this a risky bet. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on Russia, and any company using the Arctic route could face scrutiny or restrictions.
For Tesla, this creates a dilemma. Relying on the route could save millions in shipping costs, but risk alienating American regulators and consumers, especially given Elon Musk's high-profile political ties. He reportedly donated $300 million to support U.S. political campaigns in 2024. If Tesla avoids the route, it faces higher costs and delays, potentially losing its edge to European competitors who embrace the Arctic shortcut. This isn't just about logistics. It's about the bigger picture for American jobs and consumers. Tesla employs over 70,000 workers in the U.S., with factories in California, Texas, and Nevada. If European EVs flood the market at lower prices, Tesla could lose market share, forcing layoffs or price hikes. The average Tesla Model 3 costs $42,000, but if tariffs and supply chain issues drive that up, American buyers might turn to cheaper alternatives from Volkswagen or BMW. This hits U.S. consumers in the wallet at a time when inflation is already a concern. 67% of Americans polled in 2025 cited rising costs as their top economic worry. The Arctic route, by enabling cheaper imports, could ease some price pressures, but at the expense of American companies like Tesla. There's another layer to this story that makes it even more intriguing: the environmental irony. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, yet the Arctic route exists because of climate change. Melting ice is a direct result of global warming, and using this route could draw criticism from eco-conscious Americans, who make up a significant chunk of Tesla's customer base. 60% of Gen Z buyers prioritize sustainability. If Tesla ships through the Arctic, it risks being seen as profiting from an environmental crisis, potentially damaging its brand. On the flip side, avoiding the route means higher costs, which could slow Tesla's ability to scale EV production and compete globally. It's a tightrope walk for Elon Musk, who's known for bold moves but also for polarizing decisions. Speaking of Musk, let's talk about how he's already engaging with the Arctic. In 2024, Tesla launched the Arctic Cybertrek expedition, sending two Cybertrucks on a 5,500-mile journey from Florida to Canada's Arctic Ocean. The goal? To prove EVs can thrive in extreme conditions without relying on diesel generators. The expedition was a success, showcasing Tesla's engineering prowess and Musk's flair for spectacle. But it also highlighted a critical challenge. The Arctic lacks the charging infrastructure needed for large-scale EV shipping or operations.
Tesla installed temporary Level 2 chargers for Cybertruck, but scaling that for global trade is a distant dream. This expedition shows Musk isn't ignoring the Arctic, but it's unclear whether he sees the route as an opportunity or a threat. The broader implications for the United States are hard to ignore. The Arctic route isn't just a shipping lane, it's a geopolitical flashpoint. Russia and China are pouring billions into Arctic infrastructure, aiming to control a trade corridor that could rival the Suez Canal. The US, meanwhile, lags in Arctic investment, with only 2 operational icebreakers compared to Russia's 40. This raises concerns about American influence in global trade. If Russia and China dominate the Arctic, they could dictate terms for shipping, impacting everything from car prices to energy supplies. For American policymakers, this is a wake-up call to invest in Arctic capabilities, or risk losing ground in a region that's becoming a new frontier for economic power. For Tesla, the stakes are personal. Musk has built his empire on defying odds, but the Arctic route presents a unique challenge. If he embraces it, he could streamline Tesla's supply chain, but face backlash from US regulators and environmentalists. If he ignores it, Tesla risks falling behind competitors who use the route to cut costs. Data from 2024 shows Tesla stock dipped 8% during tariff-related uncertainty, reflecting investor fears about supply chain disruptions. Musk's response could define Tesla's future and America's role in the global EV market. So, where does this leave us? The Arctic route is a double-edged sword. It could ease the European car crisis by getting stranded vehicles to market faster, but it also threatens Tesla's dominance and America's economic edge. For U.S. consumers, it's a question of cheaper cars versus supporting homegrown companies like Tesla. For Musk, it's a test of strategy in a world where trade, politics, and climate change collide. The United States has a choice: invest in the Arctic to secure its influence, or watch Russia and China reshape global trade.